everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and yeah, this is going to be another one of those uncut ones, so here we go. Lots of news, and it may be this way for quite a while because there's just so much news coming out every day, it seems like. And so I'm going to start with a blast from the past here, and this, you know how they recommend different videos to you and everything? Well, they recommended this one to me even though I've seen it before. And it's from February 14th, 2017. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it, and I'll leave the link down below as always so you can watch it for yourself. But Tucker takes on the Washington Post, Erik Wemple. He's one of their writers. And yeah, of course, he does it in a masterful Tucker way and does a great job with it. But it's very interesting. What he does is he talks about how there's this section of their newspaper that was paid for by the Russians. I mean, it was like Russian propaganda, and it was put out there so it looked like part of the paper. And so he addresses that, and he confronts him about it. And this was back in 2017. So, you know, where is the Russian collusion? Listen to this and see if you don't see a little bit of it with WaPo, Washington Post. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I was kind of surprised when I saw it. And, of course, you know, it was from 2 years ago. And it's like, wow, look at what was going on 2 years ago. Sorry, I've got a little cat here that has just decided that she wants to come up here. She's not the loud purring one. She's just quiet, but she likes to be the center of attention, as most cats do. So, anyway, we'll try to keep her away from the mic as much as I can. But I wanted to share that with you and show you what that was because I think you'll enjoy watching this. I thought it was very eye-opening. And, you know, then I scrolled down and I saw a quote here and it was like, oh, look at this. There's one from Truthification Chronicles. I don't even remember posting it. But it's been 2 years. Give me a break, okay? So anyway, that's the first one. And then to go from there, for those of you who like to know what's going on in the 8chan Qresearch board, they have a new search engine, and it's got its own website and everything, and I'll put that down below. You just type in whatever you're looking for, and it'll bring up the posts that have it. It's really handy, so hang on to that, and it does have, like, the notables and things, so you can skim those. I think it's a great site. And remember, if you do go on to 8chan, just be careful because, you know, when you click on stuff especially, because there are bad guys and sometimes some of the links that they put there are not nice. So just be careful if you're going to be there. Reading it's fine, that's not a problem, but anyway, you can go through that. And also this the resignation.info website is the one that lists all the resignations that have been going on. There's the human trafficking arrests, etc., etc. So I thought I'd show you that. And then lots of these are just little snippets that I found, but I wanted to draw your attention to. And this was one that ZeroHedge put out, and they said the Smollett indictment expected in a matter of hours, and that was at 11:13. I didn't hear that there was any indictment coming out of it, but this guy's in trouble. He's in big, big trouble. And it's not the first time that he's been in trouble with the law. But in this one, he once lied to cops during a DUI arrest. And get this, what he said, that let's see, where is it? The misdemeanor complaint filed in Los Angeles Superior Court in September that year says that Smollett gave the name of his brother Jake when he was asked by an officer. So, and he also signed a false name on the promise to appear in court. So you get in trouble and you give them your brother's name? What does that say about your character? I don't know about you, but I would never do that to one of my brothers, ever. If you're going to give a fake name, give a truly fake name. Do not give your brother's name unless you hate your brother. And that kind of speaks a lot there about his character. So, again, I'll put the links down below. You can read the whole article, but it was just like, really? Come on. Was also later charged with false impersonation, driving under the influence, and driving without a license. So it appears that he has, and he pleaded no contest, so it appears that he just doesn't tell the truth to cops, evidently. And so I wouldn't really necessarily pay attention to what he's saying. Now, this was a post that an Anon came up with, and he's talking about Tale of Two Jihadi Brides. That's what he calls it. And I don't know if you've heard, these are the articles that he posted from the Daily Mail, and there are I have a couple more that I can show you on this too. But this was the girl from Alabama, and she decided she wanted to go to Syria and join ISIS. Yeah, and so she did, and she had a child, and now she wants to come back. But Trump is saying, no, not going to happen. So I made mistakes. Yeah, well, in the process, she was telling people, I don't remember which article it was. I think it was a different article. I mean, this girl was really involved in it. Oh, yeah, here. In 2015 tweet, she urged Muslims in the U.S. to launch attacks. You have much to do while you live under our greatest enemy. Enough of your sleeping. Go on drive-bys and spill all of their blood. Or rent a big truck and drive all over them. I mean, serious, this is what this woman was saying. Just crazy stuff. She claims she was brainwashed. I don't know. I do know that brainwashing occurs, and I know that young women can sometimes be vulnerable to a good-looking guy who pays them a lot of attention, but I'm not sure you'd be that much of a sucker. Anyway, here's another one. Alabama mother begs to return to U.S., and this particular one by ABC really tries to play up her side, and she needs to be forgiven, and the U.S. gives second chances and everything. Let's not forget, this person was a terrorist. This person was trying to get people in the U.S. to commit terrorism activities. So, I don't have that much sympathy here because, and here's another one. This one also, please forgive me, and it plays a lot on the emotions. Oh, this poor little girl, she just was so deceived. And, where is responsibility for your actions and your choices? I realize people make mistakes, but this was a big mistake. This was huge. And there was one that had pictures of her, I forget which one it was. This one maybe had pictures of her passports and said, go ahead and burn them. I don't know. One of them did. Must not have been. But I'll leave the links down below. You can go through. And she was not very happy with the United States. And I think if you hate the United States that much that you're asking people to go and kill people in that country, you probably better not stay a citizen of that country. If you hate your country that much, please go to another country and become their citizen, because it's not fair to anybody else. Anyway, that's her, and that's been in the news a lot. And yes, Trump did say, I've instructed Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and he fully agrees not to allow Hoda Muthana back into the country. So that is what's happening at this point. She will not be allowed back in. And it was very interesting actually reading the comments on there, because we have one saying, we love you, Trump, and of course you got to have some dissenters. We do love Trump. I'm surprised at some of these. This one is from Ahmad. I'm from Iran, and please do whatever you can so he would remain as president. After 40 years of tyranny, he's our first and maybe last chance for us to free our country from Mullah's regime. Can you imagine? That's somebody from Iran. This one is an Arabic signature and says, so happy for Venezuelans. Next for Iran. So this is something, Iran is going through a lot of things right now, and they are being ruled by a very strict regime that they don't really want to be ruled by. But they don't have, because it's a dictatorship like it is, they don't have a way of fighting against it. They're trying, but it's going to be very difficult for them to win their freedom from this type of rule. So you know, and Trump does support that. He wants them to be free. And if what Trump is working on here in the United States to free us from our corrupt politician, if that, you know, finally comes through, which I've got some news on that too today, then, you know, it's going to bleed over into other countries. By the way, I saw one of the Anons had come up with all the different things. I think there are 9 different boards on 8chan right now that are for, you know, patriots that are from other countries. So there's 9 other countries that people are going through similar things as here. They're trying to free themselves from this, you know, cabal. So then we go on to this, I said tale of 2 ISIS brides. Here's the second one. Now this one is from the UK though. And they're talking about revoking her citizenship because it is almost an identical situation here. It really is. It's very interesting to read the articles. She was a British-born teenager who traveled from East London to Syria to join Islamic State in 2015, has taken a further twist as the Home Secretary ordered she be deprived of her British citizenship. So she, you know, this is the stance that he adopted a tough stance in respect to Begum's case, but he was immediately faced with the prospect of a legal battle. Oh, surprise, surprise. And, you know, so there's a big battle going on for whether she will be stripped of her citizenship or not, because she did exactly the same thing. She went over there, she had a baby with the guy, then she was fighting for ISIS during that time. And so, you know, do you let somebody back into your country when they have threatened harm against your citizens? Why would you let them back in? Is that safe? No, I don't think so. And I think that's the stance Trump is taking when he says that. So let's go on. Oh, look at this. Exclusive. California college calls the police over a cartoon frog. Yep, there he is. Pepe the Frog. And they actually did. They saw this poster up and they called the police about it, saying, oh, you know, it's so they could be on heightened alert for any signs that this may be part of a larger trend or pattern. They've just gone off the crazy end. And if you read all this, this article explains its racist context, that Pepe the Frog is a symbol of white supremacist and symbol of bigotry. Okay, neither of those are true. I mean, it's really not. I have heard them say that many times, but it's just not. In fact, Pepe is actually a symbol of how we're all the same. I mean, Pepe, everybody, all of the Kekistanis are all green. They're all the same color. So there's no race. And when you go on the HM boards, it doesn't matter if you are black or white, if you are male or female, if you are, you know, from whatever country you're from. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're straight or gay. Any of that. It doesn't matter when you go on to the 8chan boards. They're interested in the research, they're interested in the discussion, and the ideas are what they judge you on, if you want to say it that way. If they're going to judge anything, they judge on the ideas that you put out and what you have to say. So it really has nothing to do with this kind of hatred that they're painting it out to be. And so they said, oh, hate has no home on our campus. Well, Pepe is not about hate. He's not. He's about ideas. And so I don't know what they expected would happen. But if you read through this, it's just like you want to laugh. They went spaz. I mean, this was just so overwhelmingly overblown for a picture of a frog. That's all it was. So anyway, in this particular Campus Reform, I believe, is a conservative site. And so they were putting it out there saying, look, they went bananas over this frog. They called the police. Anyway, so I wanted to show that to you. I thought it was kind of amusing. And then we go here. Now we get into the kind of the heart of what I wanted to talk about with this particular video. Yeah, it's coming. The Mueller report. Look at this. And this is from CNN. Justice Department preparing for Mueller report as early as next week. Okay, here's my take on this. I think the Mueller report will come out while POTUS is overseas. Okay, he's going to Vietnam to meet with Kim again, right? And I think while he's there is when this Mueller report's going to come out. That's just my opinion on the timing. But I think that when it comes out, it's not going to be what the left wants it to be. They're going to be disappointed. They're going to be very disappointed. And when they get disappointed, they tend to be violent. So I think it's one way of kind of protecting him. Because, you know, when he's on Air Force One, it's kind of like this fortress. And so he's pretty well protected when he's on there. And so he will be protected if he's away, and he can stay up in the air. You know, they can refuel up there and everything. He can stay up there forever if he has to, until they calm down, because they are counting on this Mueller report to get rid of Trump. That's their sole way of getting rid of him right now. And for those who are guilty, they're desperate. They're extremely desperate. So, you know, is it going to come out that early? I think maybe it will. And it says Attorney General Bill Barr is preparing to announce as early as next week the completion of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation, with plans for Barr to submit to Congress soon after a summary of Mueller's confidential report, according to people familiar with the plans. So I do think that Barr is streamlining it, because he already was not happy that it had taken as long as it had, even before he took this position. He had made some statements, some articles or something outside that indicated that. So I think that he is probably, and he's friends with Mueller, which is kind of weird, but I think he probably went to Bob Mueller and said, hey, look, this needs to get done. It's important. It has to end. Tie it up. That's it. And there are some indications that the some of the lawyers that are working with Mueller have been kind of tying things up and heading back to their own practices. So I think that things definitely are tying up, and it's going to be done very soon. I don't know exactly when, but my guess is it's going to be done when he's overseas, when POTUS is overseas. Because, again, they kind of go crazy when things don't go their way. And this isn't going to go their way. It really isn't. But it's going to make the statements. Now, as for the other things, I mean, we're still waiting on a Declass, right? And we're still waiting on some other OIG reports. The Inspector of Attorney General... Inspector General's reports. Such as live stream. It's not live. I know it's not live, but it is live for me, so I mess up. Anyway, there will be some more OIG reports. Horowitz is not done by any means. He still is working on more reports. Now, there is a report from Horowitz that was of McCabe, and that came out, gosh, I think it was like a year ago, almost exactly. I think it came out in February last year. And a lot of people skipped over that. They shouldn't, because that is what got McCabe in front of a grand jury. So it was if you read it, it basically said, I recommend charges for these people. And in there were 5 people that he recommended charges for. And one of them was Hillary Clinton and Loretta Lynch and James Comey, and I'm blanking on the other 2 right now. I'll look for the link, and hopefully I should be able to find it if I remember, and I'll put it down below too. So there are more OIG reports coming out. There's more Inspector General reports coming out, but the Inspector General's report on I think this next one may be on the FISA. And so if it is on the FISA, I think it's probably necessary that Mueller's report comes out first, because without the FISA, Mueller's entire investigation is null and void. The FISA warrant was the only thing they really had to start this investigation, to kick off this whole Mueller thing. And so without it, when you take it out, it takes the foundation out from underneath. And so I think maybe what's going to happen is that first Mueller will put his report out. That way, nobody can say Trump is interfering or anything like that. And then Horowitz is going to put his report out, which is going to recommend criminal charges for all of these people involved in the FISA. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Now, where does the Declass fit in? I'm not 100% sure. It may come in the middle, in between those two, or it may have to wait until the criminal charges actually, the indictments are actually, the indictments are actually out there. I don't know. So, here are some thoughts from some of the Anons about the timing. This one said, because the OIG, it's getting late. The OIG will, with proof, contradict the Mueller report, and so it cannot come out before Mueller, so that Mueller's report cannot be adjusted or altered as a countermeasure. I think that's probably what the situation is. I think why Mueller's report will come first. I can guarantee that. Mueller's report will come out before the OIG report. Here's another idea. Mueller in his report will exonerate POTUS, and then the OIG indicts Mueller. Not really indicts, but could recommend criminal charges. That's definitely true, because he played a role in things. And so it could very well happen that way. I don't know. I'm just kind of giving you ideas. And this one was asking for a confirmation. He said the Mueller report exonerates POTUS, and then POTUS will declass everything, and then the IG reports come out, and then Huber's work is going to be revealed. So that's what this one thinks. I'm not sure about the order here. I think possibly the IG report will come out before the Declass. Because I think, I don't know. I can see it either way, because the Declass would support what's going to come out in this IG report, or the IG report comes out first, they get all up in the air because of it, and then they put out the Declass, and it shows everything that was in that IG report is valid. So I don't know if that's possible too. Here's another one that said, because the OIG report will show that the Mueller report to be full of hooey, and it will be too late for Mueller to change his report. So I think that is a possibility, that Mueller's report has to come out first. And it will. Okay, it's going to come out first. But where do the Declass and everything else fit in there? I'm not sure, but they're all part of it. Now, my personal idea is, I think maybe this Mueller report may have some evidence in there that will need to come out so people will understand the IG report. But I'm not sure. It's speculation at this point, but those are some different speculation for you. Okay, this is from NBC News, and this was a tweet that they put out today. Survivors of clergy sexual abuse meet with organizers of a Vatican Prevention Summit, demanding transparency, zero tolerance for abuse, and for religious superiors to be held accountable when they protect priests who rape and molest children. And that interesting. Yeah, transparency and accountability. I don't know if it'll work, but hey, more power to you. I hope it does. And here's just a little interesting thing. When this is about Q. When Q posts a tweet of some kind, he refers to a different tweet, like he did just recently on, he had one for John Solomon and Sarah Carter, and then he had one for Adam Schiff. And when he does, then those tweets get 5 times more retweets than than normal ones. And so this Anon went through and he counted everything up. And he said, based on the metrics of an early Twitter, and that's the word they use for Twitter, but I'm not going to say that, timeline raid with a short video, 100 views per retweet. That is 3 times 500,000 direct eyes on in a few hours, and many more. And then that's how they say more too. Indirect through retweeted comments. So that's a lot of people. 500,000 is enough, but 3 times 500,000, that's how many people, whenever Q puts up a tweet from somebody, that's what ends up happening. That's how many people end up seeing it. So 3 times 500,000, it's a lot of retweets. And then I wanted to bring you this at the end. This is my last one. And I think it's a very good question. Why is it that we had this trial for El Chapo and it was barely covered? I mean, this was not just a, petty Annie drug person. This guy was one of the cartels. I mean, he's really big in the cartels and stuff. And so why in the world was this not covered better? Well, this Anon thinks he spilled his guts about payoffs to Mexican and U.S. politicians. Did he? Who knows? Could be why, but there's got to be a reason. It's something that big doesn't get swept under the rug unless there's a reason for it. So that is what I have for today. I hope you found something in there interesting. I will put all the links down below, and it's just the news is coming thick and fast, and there's so many different things. I know it's kind of like being a little ADD on this because I go here and there and everywhere, but these are things that I'm coming up with, and I think there's some good things for thought in there, and things you can share. Again, the links will be down below, and the news is moving fast, and it's going to move fast, and I tell you, when that comes out, the Mueller report, gonna be exciting, because it is going to be a letdown for the left, because it's not going to say Trump is guilty. We know that because Trump's not guilty, and they don't want to hear that, but it is true, he's not. So I don't know what's going to be in it. I really don't, but I do know, like I said, that I saw indications that the lawyers that were working for him, he had 17 lawyers. There's that 17 again. And they were kind of dropping off, and a lot of them were going back to their practices. So that indicates it is wrapping up. And so I do think it is. And I think Bill Barr just wants it over. He's tired of it going on. And, I think he probably did drill his friend Bob Mueller on this. I think he probably asked him a lot of questions that nobody's been asking him, like, have you found any evidence? Well, then what in the world are you still doing if you haven't found any actual evidence? And so things are going to start coming out. It's going to take a little while, but we are seeing a lot of progress, and I know some people are frustrated, but if you look back, like I said, I look back at that video from Tucker Carlson from 2 years ago. Where were we 2 years ago? What did we know at that point? Well, we didn't know a whole lot in February. I mean, Trump had just been inaugurated at the end of January. So we didn't know a whole lot by then of what all had gone on. But it has slowly come out, and now it's pretty mainstream news right now that, McCabe went on 60 Minutes, and so everybody knows he confessed to a coup, is what he confessed to. Obviously, the liberals aren't going to see it that way, but if you just listen to what he really said, he was part of a coup against the President of the United States, trying to overthrow him. And that is not something that should ever happen in the United States. We have laws, we have ways of going through things, and the 25th Amendment that they were trying to apply is not applicable in any way, shape, or form. It was meant for a physical disability, or like they were thinking, if Kennedy survived the head wound, that he wouldn't be able to lead. And that's what they were thinking when they made it, because that could very well happen. I'm not putting it past anything. But, the whole idea that Trump is not, that he's crazy, that is fabricated, because the man is very sharp and he's really on the ball. So that's how it works. We're going to see what happens, and I think McCabe is going to be soon behind bars. I think he's probably going to be one of the first ones, but Comey will be right there with him. Maybe they'll share a cell. And there will be more as time goes on, and it is happening. And if you look back, like I said, 2 years ago, we didn't know all this, but we know a lot now. We've seen all the Peter Strzok and Lisa Page text messages, and we still haven't seen all those, by the way. So we know a lot more than we did. We know things have been happening. Devin Nunes has been really in there fighting. Jim Jordan, another one of the big fighters. Even Trey Gowdy, he was trying to do his role. And so they're not done yet. They're still working at things, but it has kind of been shifted to the Senate now. So I'm keeping an eye on the Senate Judiciary to see when they start doing the hearings, because they've got a few people that they want to call in. I hope they call in Joe Pientka. I always have to stop and say his name more than once. Pientka. He was the FBI agent that went with Peter Strzok to interview Mike Flynn. So there we go. It's coming out. It's just slow, but it's got to be slow. It has to be methodical. It has to be according to our laws. It has to be this way. And we will emerge as a much stronger country because of it. And it's like a big storm. You have these big storms. It shakes down all of the bad branches and the partially dead branches. So that's what's happening right now. It is the storm. The storm is here. So I want to thank you all for stopping by. If you could just hit that subscribe button, it'd be great, because I've got a birthday coming up shortly, and I'd like to hit 60,000 by then, by the middle of April. So if you would do that, I'd really appreciate it. And I want to thank you again for just taking time to be with me. I kind of feel like I'm, getting a chance to spend time with you when I do these. So I do kind of like them, but I also like having them a little more polished most of the time. It's just there's so much news. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to that. So I will try. I need to do more digging is what I need to do. And the headlines have just been kind of enticing me lately. So that's it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you all later.